You're watching 90s Rock in 9 minutes. I'm your host, Sam Bass, and this is Ashley. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we're going over Follow the Leader from Korn. This album came out August 18th, 1998. And I know where I was on August 18th, 1998. I was over at Hastings buying it.
What's Hastings?
Oh, wow. It was kind of like Blockbuster and stuff.
Barnes & Noble?
Yeah, Barnes & Noble. This is the first album that I ever was anticipating. Like, I got into the band, and then, they had only had 2 albums out by that point, Korn. And then I was like, I'm getting their next album. This is awesome. And then this album dropped. There are songs on here. There's a song called Dead Bodies Everywhere.
Bruh.
And it's about dead bodies laying everywhere. Because Jonathan Davis was a mortician before he actually was in Korn. Did you know that?
I actually did not know that.
Yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah, this album
He
had...
was pretty young when he started Korn, I feel like.
Yeah, he became a mortician right out of high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was going to be the singer Jonathan Davis. That was going to be his first career. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's the hits on here. This has Got the Life. It's got Freak on a Leash. Anything that you have probably heard from Korn, just in passing, those songs are on here. It also has a song on here called All in the Family, and that has Jonathan Davis rap battling Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit. And Jonathan Davis has been quoted as saying, that's one of the worst Korn songs ever. And I disagree, and here's why. Because it's a total time capsule of that moment. It's from that time. And they say things on there that aren't woke, and today you would get canceled for saying those things. But it was very much a slice of the 90s. Just 2 guys ripping on each other, wasted drunk.
It's a rap battle, and it's interesting because, Korn doesn't really rap, do they?
They actually don't. That's a good point.
It's like their one rap song.
You've heard it. Who do you think won?
It's a good question. I haven't thought about that. I don't know. I kind of feel like Fred won it. I feel like he's a little better at the rap.
Yeah, actually, I would agree. I think Fred won that. So, props to Fred. You won.
Just 1 point.
Yeah, you won 1 point. If we're going to do a point system, though, Jonathan Davis gets 2 points for writing Dead Bodies Everywhere. That took a lot of guts. And that's the thing, is you wouldn't expect. This record went like quadruple platinum, or whatever. I'm just pulling a figure out of thin air, but I know it did. We can find out. This was the one that was it's considered their breakthrough. It peaked at number 1 on 4 charts, including the Billboard 200. So you would never think.
And which number album was this for them?
Oh, this was their 3rd album.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like most people's 3rd album is usually one of their best. It's the first, obviously, when you get an awesome record deal, it's such a big moment, and they put so much into it. And then the second one is like, yeah.
You just had to bang something out. When do you have time to write those songs? You had your whole life to write your first album, and you have 6 months to write your second. If you look in the liner notes of this album, there's they have the walls all tagged up, spray painted. And if you look close, you can actually see Limp Bizkit spray painted on the wall, because they were cool with each other. You can also see Orgy spray painted on the wall.
Who's that?
Orgy is... You never heard of Orgy? They were just a band that rolled with their crew back then.
Okay.
Yeah, so they gave the props to their friends on here. They had Ice Cube on here.
What?
Yeah, and he sounds pissed on here. I don't know what happened, but he was pissed.
Was I happy that day?
I think he was happy, but that's just the way he sounds. Even when he's happy, he's like, "You better check yourself, fool."
That's why you play a policeman.
Did he play a policeman?
Ice Cube?
Ice Cube, yeah.
Am I Am I thinking about the right person?
I think that's Ice-T.
Ice-T, sorry. Yes.
I'm gonna go
Ice Cube and Ice-T.
Yeah,
They
Ice
should really
Cube.
come together for something.
They should, and then I'll change my name to Iceberg, and then we could do a collaboration. You know what I mean? Shout out to Ice-T and Ice Cube. And even Vanilla Ice while we're at it. Just all the ices out there. The art on here looks really familiar, like the artistry. It's like hand drawn. It's like a comic book. And that would be because a comic book artist did draw this. This was drawn by Todd McFarlane. Yeah, and do you know who that is?
No, not really.
He drew a comic book by the name of Spawn, and this was a huge comic book in the 90s.
Oh,
yeah.
He created the Spawn character?
And he created Spawn, okay. And that was one of my favorite comic books of the 90s, and then Korn was becoming one of my favorite bands.
That's really cool.
It changed everything for me. There's other songs on here that are, like, the story behind them is really heavy as well. There's a song on here called Justin, and that is actually a song that they wrote for a dying kid who his final wish was to meet Korn. Aww. Yeah. And then Jonathan Davis, they went and met him. And then they named the song Justin after him. Aww. But, I mean, he lives on.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there's actually a secret song on here, which is, it's called Earache My Eye, which is Cheech and Chong made up a song in the 70s or whenever they were getting high doing movies. And it was that song. And they basically, Korn covered it for the secret song on this album. But they got Cheech to sing on it. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. That's another thing about this album that's weird. Is when I bought this, I mean, obviously it was the 90s. And, each track, usually the album starts on track 1. I mean, but this album starts on track 13. So you had to skip like 11 or 12 tracks to even listen to the first song, And I still don't know why they did that. The last song on here, before the secret track, is called My Gift to You, and I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But that has bagpipes in it. And a lot of people, I think some people don't realize that the singer of Korn always played bagpipes. And then so they put those in some of their songs. It's sort of like their trademark. We got to have the song with the bagpipes in it. You know what I mean? Oh, one more thing. I specifically remember whenever I saw the video for Got the Life, the lead single. When that came on, I was over at this girl's house. It was the 90s. And all of a sudden, Korn, this band that I had been jamming to, and really, it was very, very new. We didn't know much about them, or I didn't know much about them. But all of a sudden, imagine that you have the first 2 albums of a sort of underground band, and then boom, you see their video on MTV all of a sudden, and it just blew me away. And I was like, oh, they made it. They just freaking made it. Follow the leader. Check it out. Why don't you follow my lead and grab the record? You've been watching 90s Rock in 9 minutes. Be sure to like and subscribe.